Hello guys, Icewolf here. Today I will show you how to find the entity list in Skyrim and the NoClip address and the Viewmatrix, as well to create your own ESP, at least in the games for the creation engine. But first things first, I had some trouble because a lot of older games crashed when I tried to use any kind of debugger in Steam games, and also DBG and some other tools like this crashed when I tried to debug games, especially on Steam. And I found out that it's some kind of protection from not specifically Steam related, but from Windows to prevent some kind of debugging. But there is a way around this. There are two different solutions I can provide you with. One is this GitHub project from x64DBG. It's called Skillerhide. Here's a short explanation. It hooks various functions in user mode to hide debugging at all. I did not use this. I found a site, it's called thehackerwithin.com, and here's a little bit longer explanation what's happening. And this guy created a DLL which is hooking three functions to hide the debugger at all from Steam. So I can't assure you that this is totally safe, so don't blame me. If you're unsure about this, just don't use it or try Skillerhide or something else, but don't blame me if you get in trouble using this. And one thing to mention, like he wrote also, don't use this on any VAC or VAC, or what is it called in English, I don't know, protected games. And because you will run into a ban, probably. I repeat, don't use this. And also don't forget that you injected the DLL after hacking or reversing some games, and decide to play some matchmaking in CSGO a little bit later before restarting the Steam's process. Don't get banned. And don't blame me if you fuck it up. Well, yeah. Okay, since you know about this, you just have to start Steam. I injected his DLL, and then you can easily set breakpoints and use cheat engines or also other debuggers on the games, and you won't crash anymore. But now let's get started. What I wanted to mention first is don't be scared of larger games like Skyrim or The Witcher or whatever, or GTA. Larger games than Assault Cube. It's a lot of times the exact same process you probably learned on guidedhacking.com. All tutorials, or a lot of tutorials, use the exact same technique, and also larger games are can be reversed with the same techniques, and you will see it's basically not much more difficult. Well, I won't explain you how to find your own coordinates or the Viewmatrix, since we have a lot of very good tutorials on guided hacking for this kind of stuff. Especially, I suggest the how to find the Viewmatrix tutorial from Rake, which is basically the exact same technique. Yeah, let's get started. We want to find the entity list. For this, we need to find our own coordinates first. I'm going to start with a value type of float and unknown initial value, hit first scan, and walk down these stairs, search for decreased value, decreased, 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 increased, 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 decreased, 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 increased. Like you can see, we are down to 765 addresses. This should be enough. I totally ignored the static green ones because my coordinates should be in some kind of array or list, and I just assumed that these can't be static, so I began searching over here, and I just right-clicked a lot of these addresses and just had a look what accessed this address. And also here I ignored addresses which were just accessed by 1, 2 or 3 other addresses, because I assumed, maybe this works different for other games, but I assumed that my address, the player address, would be accessed a lot of more times on different places. And yeah, if you, for example, have a look here, yes, we want to attach, you can see just 2 other addresses accessed, this one or this one. It's just 1 other address. Oh, 1 second. Even can be the right one. Let me have a look here. Access here. This is just 1. Oh, let me have a look in the other list. 1 second. Yeah, this is totally the right one. There are possibly other addresses which produce some similar result, but when I ended up with an address which is accessed by so much others, I just had a look in the disassembler and had a look for some kind of array, and also had a look, find out what addresses this instruction access. And there is an address 6C, 6B, DC, which is this one, and it turns out to be one of the working ones. There are, like I say, there are possibly other solutions, but over here I don't have an array, but this address is accessed by a lot of other entities in this case. So when you find out what addresses this instruction access and search for floats, you will see that every entity which is within some 100 meters from the character is in this list. These are only Z coordinates. So if you have a look on the search, hit from top, the 384, you see that if I'm jumping, this is responding accordingly. And if I right click and browse this memory region, have a look in float, you can see that these are my coordinates. And this address is is accessed by every other entity, enemy, or NPC within a certain range. So you can hook here without a problem and get, in this case, ESI plus 43, which is the X, Y, and Z coordinate in this case. And yeah, but now you have a problem because you can't write to these addresses. But this is not a problem because we already got the NoClip address also in the list from the found addresses. What I do most of the time is I catch every address which is black, get it down here, and I start freezing them. But not all together, because in a lot of games this will just crash the game. So just catch like 20 or 30 or even less and start to freeze them. So for example, if I start here and I freeze these, I just test in game if I still can jump. And if I can jump, I know I have the wrong ones and I just delete them. So I jump. It just still works, so I can unfreeze them and just hit delete. Yes, I want to delete them. I just continue, I freeze them, I try to jump, it still works. I unfreeze them and delete them. And I continue like this. Zack. You see we have some graphic errors, but it's still not the correct address. Unfreeze, delete. Oops. Unfreeze. Hello? Please respond. Thanks. So these are not even read anymore. Okay. And now my game crashed. Awesome. Okay, sorry for the interruption. Now just happened what I told you about. My game crashed. I searched again for my own address. I added all the black ones, and we just try it again. We freeze a lot of addresses. We still can jump. We delete a bunch of addresses. Some more even. Ah, now you see I can't really jump anymore. So I have one of these addresses is the right one because I can't jump. That's why I can delete the rest. And now we just have to have a look which of these is the correct one. Like you can see, I can't jump, so it must be one of these. So I can safely delete the rest in this case. And we have a look. What about these? Yeah. You see, if I start to go downstairs, it's locked on one height. So I just delete, oops up. That was crap, of course. I still can jump, so these are not the correct ones. I still can jump. So it's probably this one. Yeah. Okay, so we found the non-static address, which we are able to write to, and now we want to find out what writes to this address, because we want to know where we can hook this shit. We jump, we end up with 3 addresses, and yeah, what you basically do is you open these up in the disassembler. I started to knob one of these. I was still able to jump, so I knew it couldn't be the right one. Take the second one, knob it, and knob it too, and you can see I can't jump anymore. The problem you have right now is that well, you can actually knob this address, but it will crash a lot of times. So I thought I can just knob this address, hook here, and write my own coordinates, but it didn't work like this, and I actually had to use this address. So basically, just to knob the addresses and have a look if you still can jump isn't in every game the right solutions. I first hooked the last one, but I ended with random crashes, and in the end, like I said, this was the correct one. If you have a look in the debugger, if we hit a breakpoint here, go in game, let's free this. Hello. Whoops. Come on. Thank you. Ugh. So, and we have a look at ESI plus E0. Ah, yeah, we're still here. I had a look just when I paused the game. Yeah, that's basically the X, Y, and Z coordinate. And as you notice, these coordinates are very different from the ones the player had in the entity list. To be honest, I don't know why. I can just assume that the other ones are world coordinates, and these are I don't know, cell coordinates or something like that. They are a lot smaller than the other ones, but this is just a wild guess. I might be wrong. If you know better, please tell me. Well, yeah, these are the coordinates you can actually write to. So if I hit 10, you see I end up in the air. Yeah, so this is basically how I find NoClip in games, search or have a look at non-static addresses, try to freeze them one by one, or take half of the addresses you find. Some games never crash, some games are very picky and crash very fast if you freeze too many addresses, and just filter them, delete them if they are non-responsive, and you see you can still jump, and try to find the address which will freeze your height in this case. For the Viewmatrix, like I said, it works the same way like in a salt cube. So basically, if you look down, it's a -1. You search for -1. Up is for 1, and yeah, it goes pretty fast. So we search again for float. In this case, it's exact value. We look down. We search for -1. Up, we search for a 1. Down, -1. Again, -1. Up, we search for a 1. Again, -1. Oh, Rake is so much better in explaining exactly why you have to do this and the overall theory behind this than me, actually, because I can't explain it. I just know how it works. So we search for -1 again. And 1. And basically what I did now was I had a look at the static addresses. I just hit browse this memory region in, of course, in float view, and had a look for Viewmatrix, which is a 16-digit number. 16-digit number, I'm sorry. 16 numbers. And I tried a lot of different ones, but in the end I ended up with 1B38. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, these are basically they are related to the same. These three are related to the same Viewmatrix. So if you have a look here, this is the correct one. Yeah, exactly. 1B3EA10. This is the start of the correct Viewmatrix in Skyrim. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's this one. Originally, I used a different one, which used to look very, very similar in the beginning, but I ended up with a broken ESP, which disappeared after some seconds randomly, or begin to flicker also randomly in certain angles. And the only difference between the one I originally used and this one is that the other Viewmatrix starts to change some numbers. Also, yeah, it looks random to me. So after some seconds, the numbers changed, but only slightly. And then I found this one, and it looks basically the same, but the numbers don't change. So yeah, this is a working Viewmatrix. Yeah, I'm sorry because I'm crap at explaining. I hope you learned something new, and at least it should help you to create an ESP for, I think, any creation engine game like yeah, Oblivion, Morrowind, Skyrim, and hopefully also the upcoming games. Oh, Fallout also, and the upcoming games from Bethesda, Starfield, and of course the Elder Scrolls 6. And yeah, if you have questions, hit me. If not, have a nice day. Cheers.